own production. I'm in a hotel in Fort Wayne, Indiana, all alone by myself for 4 days. And first, well, I should start the pod. I should say, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Congdon Takeover. I do want to apologize. I know I haven't been putting out content or anything lately. I had the sickest month of my life, dude. I got sick as fuck last month, and on top of being very sick, it was also work-wise. I know I didn't put out pods or anything, but I'm working on a separate project. It was the busiest week ever, busiest few weeks ever. So I have been first, I don't even know what month it is. What year are we in, dude? I got something called norovirus. I don't know if you've ever heard of norovirus, but God, I fucking wouldn't wish it on someone who fucked my mom and broke up my marriage. What? Oh God, I'm seeing blood. There's blood. There's blood on the curtains of my hotel room right now. Ew, dude, I have OCD, and that's the worst thing you could ever see. It's a pretty nice hotel. There's just one little piece of blood on the curtain that I think they missed. People just bleed everywhere, huh? Every time I bleed somewhere, I know I'm bleeding immediately. It always shocks me when someone goes like, oh shit, I'm bleeding. It's like, you didn't fucking know you were bleeding, dude? What a weird thing not to notice. I got norovirus about 4 weeks ago, I would say. And it was the worst illness I've ever gotten. It was like the stomach thing going around pretty much everywhere. I'm pretty sure I got it in Arizona. And I think I got it in a hot tub because I was tracking down. So it's a really bad stomach virus. It gives you like one of 3 symptoms, and you can get all 3 or 1 or 2 of them really bad. I got one really bad, and I believe it's the worst one of all 3. So the 3 things it does is it makes you fucking throw up a lot. It makes you diarrhea a lot. And then the third thing is it gives you severe stomach cramps. And I had a little bit of everything, but the severe stomach cramps were insane. And I think I got it from a hot tub in Arizona because that's why they say you can't get in that bitch with diarrhea for 14 days. And I think someone got in with the virus, and then I went in there swirling my ass, and then their diarrhea got up in my ass, and we fecal transplanted a disease to each other, or they did to me. And yeah, dude, I fucking got sick as fuck. It was the worst thing I've ever felt in my life. It felt like you were cramping. Like, I looked on Reddit, and there were some women that were saying that they had given birth to multiple children, and the cramps from norovirus was worse than any labor pains they had. Like, I was screaming like I was giving a birth to my child in bed. I shit my bed twice. Me and my boyfriend got very close during this. I shit my bed twice. It was fucking embarrassing. And it did hurt, dude. It did hurt. And it was getting up like I was going to explode on the toilet every 7 minutes for almost 7 days, but not really nothing coming out. It's just the pain, and then you sit on the toilet, and then you scream like you're gonna have diarrhea, and then you kind of don't, and then you go back, and then you go back to the bathroom again. And the stomach cramps were so bad that I tore up my restroom. Like there was fucking the towel things ripped off the wall. The thing that holds the towels ripped off the wall. Redban had bought me and my boyfriend a squatty potty. I broke that bitch. My legs were shaking so bad back and forth that it cracked. And he bought us a nice one. He's got Kill Tony money. And it cracked that bitch. It cracked the wood right off that bitch. That's how bad my cramps were. And it was like that for 7 days nonstop. I lost 6 pounds. That part was incredible. I will say that. I wish I had the throw up one because I heard that one works out your abs incredibly. But it was so fucking bad, you guys. I can't even describe it. And then I start to feel better for about 4 days, but even after the virus, you don't feel better, dude. You kind of have this weird trauma of, you have 4 days of feeling really weak because you haven't eaten or done anything in 4 days. And then you also have a fear that the cramps are so bad that there's a lingering fear for a few days where you don't want to leave the house. You don't want to do anything. You're kind of scared. And that happened. And as soon as I convinced myself I was getting better, I got a lung flu, some sort of lung flu. I went and celebrated at a Kill Tony on a Monday night, and Sarah Weinshank and I are working on a project. It's why most of the reason why we had to end our podcast. And we're working on a project that she had to fly in for. And we go to Kill Tony on Monday. We say, we're only going to Kill Tony on Monday, and then we're going to work the rest of the week. We have to work the rest of the week. We can't go out. We have to really focus on this thing we're working on. We go to Kill Tony. We have a few drinks. I wake up the next morning, and we're working on our project. In the middle of the project, I go, something's not right. She like looks at me because she just flew out here to work, and I go, I'm not feeling well. And within an hour, I had a full-on fever, chills, coughing. The cough was the worst. I couldn't even talk without coughing. And that lasted for 7 days. So I was sick for fucking 14, 15 days while working on a project. So that is why I'm apologizing to you guys. I'm feeling much better. My God, nothing makes you appreciate your health more than being sick. It really makes you grateful and thankful for the things in your life, because I fucking was losing it. I was scared that I was going to be bored here, but Fort Wayne's really impressed me. There's something, I don't want to be rude when I say this, there's something sad and magical about the city. I've been here the whole time. It's been like gloomy, but kind of cold, but not cold enough, and slightly rainy, but not enough where you can't go outside. You have to hide weed, which feels insane to me. Just fucking having to go into a back. I have to like take walks and find back alleys where there's not wholesome families everywhere. It's a lot of wholesome families. I don't see anyone smoking cigarettes or cursing, and there's billboards about no abortions. It's like a different world here. Everyone's talking about tornadoes, and so I have to go find like back alleys, and I'm going in like my weird camo pants, and I'm like smoking pot while listening to Kanye and being mentally ill. Like, I'm definitely the most mentally ill person these people have seen in their city. And everybody that walks by me when I'm smoking weed, you would think I was doing like a fresh fucking of heroin on my arm. You think I'd have a rubber band around my arm and I'm just shooting up in front of a school the way they look at me. It's fucking insane. But the people have been great. The crowds have been fucking awesome, dude. Really, really, really great crowds. These people need something to do, so they're coming out to laugh. And after the show last night, the comics convinced me to go out with them to a barcade. I was like, I don't want to go at all. I'm kind of a homebody. Okay, I know I said I want to be out, I want to be working. I'm a homebody unless it's work. Like, I'm kind of obsessed with this and being at home. So I don't like being at home if I'm sick and I can't be working at home. But I also am not the type to really go out after shows. If I drink, if I'm partying, it's usually with comics. I like to feel safe and know people, and I'm that kind of person where if people are going like, we're going here after, if it's like more than 10 minutes away, I'm not going. I don't even like to leave far. Even if I'm not home, I don't like to leave a location and go far from the current place I'm at. It makes me nervous. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but I do. And I went to the barcade with these guys, and it was really cool. It was $15 to get in, all you can play. I was shocked that they didn't have Big Buck Hunter, because my God, that is the best. Big Buck Hunter and what's the fucking golf one where you go and then the ball goes and then you hit the ball and go. What's that one called? Fucking, I know someone's yelling it into their fucking phone right now. What's the golf game called? God damn it. I don't remember. But that one and Big Buck Hunter are the best games to play in an arcade. It's so fun. They didn't have Big Buck Hunter. They had every other game in the world, and I feel like it's a crime not to have BBH. It's so fun. I would play in college I would go to a dive bar. Like, the way that I went to dive bars in college, you would think I was like an 80-year-old retired man. I would go get a pitcher of Bud Light and like set it up next to the games and kind of just play games, go outside, smoke cigarettes, and come back in and shoot deer. I had at one point, me and my friend Kelsey, I'm pretty sure, kept the high score on Big Buck Hunter. I've actually looked into doing big buck hunter competitions. The only reason I get nervous about that is if you go to bars, people don't take the game seriously. They're over there jamming the guns, they're fucking it up. So if you are not serious about big buck hunter, don't abuse the game. Stay away from it. Because people who care like me, who want the top score in the game, I'm pissed when I go and I click that gun and it don't click right. That's right. I brought up an accent. So we go to this dive bar. We pay $15. We go in. We get drinks. So I order a Jack and Coke. And this is one of those bars. I know what they did immediately. This is another one of those things. I order a Jack and Coke. They pour it. They charge me. I sip it. Immediately I go, this ain't Jack. This is well. I know the difference. I'm 34 years old. What do you think this is? They tried to get me. Yeah, I'm 34 years old at a barcade and you're serving Aperol Spritz. And I should know better, but I caught on. But I chugged down my Jack and Coke. And, I should mention this. Before we go to the bar, we walk by, and right before, there's nothing to do in this town. And right before we get to the bar, I look over, and the bar next door is hosting midget wrestling. It was crazy. It was sold out. It looked like a fucking real wrestling event just in the building next door. We popped our heads in. We go into the barcade. We go upstairs. We go into this, like, VIP room they have. I don't know. And we sit down, and it's literally box seats for midget wrestling. Like, Indiana is surprisingly, like, there's just little things that are fun like that in it. And it was awesome. We watched, I'll put in a little clip. We watched some of the little people do some wrestling. People were going fucking nuts. Oh, my God. We played at the barcade for a little bit. The barcade, I will say this. It was shaped like a sketchy strip club. It was giving, like, if you don't pay attention, you're going to get pulled into a dark tunnel somewhere. I will say the barcade is perfect for human trafficking. I could see my dumbass. Big buck hunter, not paying attention, cut to getting gangbanged by a dumpster. I could see it happening, dude. It was so bad. I went to go to the bathroom, and one of the girls there was like, "I'll go with you. This place you shouldn't walk alone." So I've had weird things like that. One time I was when I was single. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story, but one time when I was single and I was on a dating app, I matched with this dude. I'll describe him now. On the app, he seemed great. He was this handsome 6'2". He was a second grade teacher. He was like this handsome black, like mixed second grade teacher. He wore these glasses, and his videos were him like teaching kids, and he looked like so sweet and nice. And we matched, and I was like, oh, a second grade teacher. That's hot for a woman. A woman, well, it's either hot or a red flag, depending on the guy. And the guy in this picture, so I was like, this is hot. He's kind of attractive. He looks like he loves children. I love children. And we matched, and we talked a little bit, and he asked me out to dinner, and I said yes. And I don't like men picking me up on the first date. I just don't like them knowing where I live. Simple as that. And so I'm always like, I'll meet you there. I also, for a first date, ladies, this is good advice for the younger ladies out there. Yeah, on the first date, you should be able to transport yourself in and out of that bitch in case you got to skedaddle, okay? Because not everything that glitters is gold, sweetie, okay? And I'll tell you, right now, I've experienced it firsthand. So this dude, he, first of all, first red flag, he asked me if I have any suggestions where to go, which I just don't like that on a first date. Gentlemen, I think a lot of women that are looking for a real man, they want you to, like, have a place picked out. Like, if you ask a girl on a date, even if it's like you don't want to pick it and she doesn't like it, give her like 3 options. I've looked up these 3 places. They all have these reviews. Is there any that you prefer, or would you like something else? I can keep looking. Perfect. This guy's like, where do you want to go? So I pick like a cute little, it's like a kind of a classy piano bar brunch setting. And it's in the evening. This is like at 4 or 5 o'clock. We're going to meet up. After school. Hot. So I'm meeting a teacher. I'm like, this man's educated. We're going to meet at this, and it's like one of those bars where everything's wood and there's like candle lights, but it's casual. It's not too fancy, but it's nice. You know, you can have some drinks. I'm sitting at this table, and I shit you not, I'm waiting. I'm early, which is probably a bad move on my part, but I live really close to the place. That's another thing I do. I pick a place I live close to so I can escape quickly if I need to. I don't want to be far away if I'm dating's a whole fucking thing, dude. I'm so glad I'm not doing it. And so I'm sitting there waiting, and a couple guys go by and go, "Kim, I love the podcast." I go, "Thank you," and it feels good. I'm like, wow, I got recognized here. It doesn't happen very often. Then this man shows up, and he looks like Flavor Flav's son, dude. I am not kidding. When he showed up, I didn't even expect him to come my way and sit at my table. He looked so fucking different from I don't even think it was the same person from the pictures. It was a completely different human that sat down in front of me. This man was wearing pants almost to his knees, boxers out, like some real like if Kodak Black didn't have any money shit. Like it was like some real hood shit. Dude, I grew up in Central Florida. I grew up in Cocoa Beach, 321 Countdown Town. I know some hood shit. And this guy was, I gave him a they. This guy was fucking, he sits down. And then I go, you know what? He's a teacher. He might go from, teacher mode to like, this is his off time. He changed. He's trying to, so I'm still like open. He sits down and immediately he's like, he's just not what I expect, dude. He cannot hold a conversation. He can't fucking. He gets mad because they don't have Hennessy at the bar. Literally, he was like, "No Hennessy," and then we're not vibing at all. We have nothing to talk about. He's so embarrassing, even like with the waitress. He doesn't know what anything is. He's so embarrassing that I'm like, I can't actually have the guys that recognize me see me. If they'd be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing with your?" It would look like I was going down the wrong road in my life, dude. This guy was insane. And yeah, so I chug my drink and I want to get out of this bar. I'm like, this bar is too nice. We need to go. I cannot be here with this dude. I chug my drink. I'm like, he's like, what do you want to do? You want to, there's a place to play pool. And I said, okay. And at this point, like I said, this is when I was living in LA. And like I said, I picked a place really close to my house. So we're in it was 100% a gang living on my block. I would be walking sometimes. I would go up to the little corner store and I would buy like blunt wraps, and I would be walking sometimes and they would fucking, like one time I was walking and I saw two dudes in the car and they were, I swear to God, they were like the Breaking Bad dudes. They were twins. They look like twins, at least. They had the same build. They were staring straight ahead and their entire faces were tattooed in skulls. It was the scariest thing I've ever seen. Another time I got stopped at 3 a.m. driving home, and it was just like a bunch of like, they kind of looked really cool. They were definitely like young 20s. They were scary. And the girls were like overlined lips, like these hot fucking scary bitches. And they literally, it was in the middle of the night after a show, and they go into the middle of the street and they put their hand up to make me stop. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm going to get robbed or killed or something. And they just literally wanted to talk in the middle of the street and decided that I don't get to go until they're done talking. So I waited like 5 minutes and they were just chilling in the street. And when they walked away, they waved me by. And so this date was in this neighborhood. It was, and it's not a horrible neighborhood. It just has pockets of really bad. Like in LA, the you can have one gang street and the next street's like nice as fuck, dude. I don't know how to explain it. It just goes block by block. That's a lot of places, I think. But on this date, this guy's like, do you want to go play pool? And I'm like, I'll do anything to get out of the sunlight with you. I don't want to be seen with you. And we had only spent like 20 minutes having a drink. And I was like, I don't want another drink. And because I was trying to end the date. And then we go and walk across the street to this pool hall I've never seen. And I have a bad feeling when we pull up to it. I just do. I already have a bad feeling from this whole date. And he didn't give me a bad feeling like he was. This guy was nice. I will say he was a nice guy. I'm being a little hard on him. He was just not. We were in different places in our lives, dude. And I didn't feel in danger with him. I just didn't want to be around him. And we pull up to this pool hall and it's locked, but it says it's open. So we like try to open it, and then he knocks. And I swear to God, like a movie, a thing flips open and then closes. And then the door opens, and it's this empty pool hall. This is in the evening again. The sun's like setting right now. At this point, it's about to get dark. It's this empty, dingy pool hall. There's like a big bitch behind the bar. She's got her lips lined, big hoop earrings. This is definitely the pool hall where the gang hangs out, turns out. And they open it, and we peek in. I'm with the guy behind me, and it's just like 3 big ass fucking dudes, and 2 of them by the pool table. And one of them, I swear to God, from the bar looks at me and goes, and flicks his tongue at me. And then I look back at the guy, and he's like, do you want to go in? And I was like, no. Because immediately I was like, if we go in there, we're not coming out. I'm like, we can't go in there. I don't really want to do this. I'm not comfortable with it. And then he was like, all right, what do you want to do? And that was the first time in my life I was ever like, you know what, dude? And this was a very empowering moment where I was like, I'm not feeling it, and I kind of just want to go home. Is it okay with you that I say that? And he was a really nice guy, and he said, it is. And he was like, it was really nice meeting you. And we both went our separate ways. And that's how I know he was a nice guy. But yeah, dude, that was one of the worst catfishes I've ever experienced in my life. One time in college, this fucking dude begged me to go on a date for like a month, dude. He'd be like, let me take you out. And one time I was so mean to him. I was like, take me out, but we're going here. And I was like, we're going here. And the motherfucker took me to dinner and then split the check. The nerve. I don't even want to be here. I could have eaten this meal in my bed alone. One time, this was a self-esteem ruiner, and I can't believe I'm saying this while doing a pod with no makeup. But one time I was on a date with this guy, and we were driving. Well, this is a red flag too. I was driving us on the date. Big red flag. This was in college. I dated a lot of losers. You know, this is when you're in your 20s. And on the way back from the date, he accidentally texted me, she's all right. During the date. And I was like, you accidentally texted me. And he was like, oh, my bad. And I was like, yeah, get out. And I kicked him out of my car immediately. Powerful. All my worst dates were in college. And I think that's pretty normal. I think once I got out of college, I immediately started doing stand-up. And I kind of stopped dating I did date a fucking douchebag when I started doing stand-up. I dated this guy that was in stand-up but wanted to be a model. And he was definitely a narcissist. And I was obsessed with him because he was hot. He was like the hottest boyfriend I ever had. He was a model. And I just moved to LA, and I was new to like hot people, and I was excited. I came from Florida where every guy's like, you know, so no offense to my Florida guys listening. You guys are hot in your own way, to be honest. Models have since then become so unattractive to me. So it's really a phase, dude. It is a phase. Like being into models is like a phase, like being gay in college, where you're like, I'm not into that anymore. What was I going to say? Oh, the fucking crazy guy in college. Okay. I was going to school, and this was, I went to college. I was dating a guy in high school. I started dating a guy when I was 16. He was my first love. I would say he was my first real love. And we were dating when we were 16 till I was like 19 or 19, I think. Yeah, 16 and 19. And that's huge when you're that young, if you're dating for 3 years. And we moved to college together. And I just, it was one of those things where we moved away together. This is really fucked up. And in my college town, it was like girls can get in at 18 and guys can get in at 21. It's the rapiest thing ever, but college towns do that because they want a bunch of girls in there so that guys come in and want to buy them drinks illegally. And so the first 7 months of us being in college together, I was allowed to get in the bars and he wasn't. And I really avoided it for the first couple months, but then I got a job and started making friends and started going out. It was my first time out of my small hometown. And I started feeling like, dude, I don't want to be in a relationship. This is all so fun. I remember there was specifically one night I was in a relationship, and there was this Olympic swimmer that went to UF. We were all partying with him in like this VIP booth. He had like these really hot friends, and there was this one guy there, and everybody was doing shots, and they were like putting the limes in their mouths, and the girls were taking the limes, and the hot guy put a lime in his mouth and turned towards me. And I remember wanting to take it out of his mouth so bad, but I'm not a cheater. I've never cheated or lied in my life. And the next day I had to tell my boyfriend we had to break up because I was like, I know I'm going to cheat. I already know. I wanted to do that. I'm going to want to do it again. Like, I realized it. And I broke up with this guy, and I think it did break his heart. And it was really a sad breakup, and it was just kind of one of those things that happens with life. And then I was all alone in college, and I was single, and I was kind of sad. I had only known this guy and a couple of the friends I made, and I was kind of sitting by myself at lunch in college one day, and this guy comes and sits next to me. This is like a month after I'm single, and he sits next to me, and he doesn't look like a college student. Like, he looks like, you know, when they do college students in movies and they're like 34-year-old men, like, he looked like a grown man, but he was like hot. The best way I could describe him is the villain in a movie that's hot and dating the girl in the beginning, and he actually turns out to be like the bad guy. Like, he kind of reminded me of the bad guy in the movie Red Eye. Who is that? Cillian Murphy? Is that how you say that guy's name? You know who I'm talking about. But like a hot country version of him. And he sits down next to me, and he's really sweet. And, dude, it's one of those instinct things again where he sits next to me, and I have this pit in my stomach, but he's so hot that I kind of ignore it. But it's almost like the danger I feel makes me curious about him in a weird way. And so he asked me to dinner, and we go on a dinner date, and he's nice enough. And then we go on a second date to feed ducks. And then he meets up with me at lunch a few more times. This is all within like a couple weeks. We go on a couple dates. And I always just have this weird feeling about him, but he's done nothing wrong. And he's really handsome, but he kind of seems scary. I don't know how to explain it. And then on probably the third or fourth date, I tell him it's fine that he can drive me to the date. And we're driving to the date, dude, and he's like, oh, I need to pick something up from my house. And I'm kind of like, I'm at the age now where I don't know how to say no, or like, I don't want to drive to your house because I'm fucking 20 years old or whatever, 19. And he starts driving, and this is in Gainesville, Florida, and he starts driving deep into the woods, like deep fucking into the woods, deep. It looks like it's at night, dude, and it goes from like a neighborhood in the woods to like there's not even a road anymore. Where like the trucks bouncing, like it looks like the woods in Snow White. It suddenly starts getting scary, and we get to this cabin, and we walk through the woods. At this point, I'm like, something's wrong here. And we walk deep through the woods to this cabin, and I'm following this scary guy into the woods. I can't believe I did this, dude. The things I've survived. And we go into this cabin, and he's like, me and my dad live here, but I don't know where he said he's like, my dad's out tonight, and this is my room, and he shows me his room, and then he starts pulling out all these weapons he has. He's showing me all these guns and these knives, and he pulls out this fucking huge bow and arrow thing that's loaded, dude, and he's like showing, and have accepted my fate. At this point, in my head, I'm going, what have I done, dude? I have kept my mouth shut so long that I am in a situation that you're, as a woman, warned about from the day you're born. I'm somehow here, sitting on the edge uncomfortably on this guy's bed as he's showing me his weapons deep into the woods. And he like points the bow, and he's like pointing it around the room and explaining how it works and the tension. And I'm kind of just going like, it's going to go right to my head, and he's going to just kill and this is it, and this is the end. And he goes like, well, you ready for dinner? And I was like, yeah. And we get in his car, and he takes me for dinner. And I was like, I'm never going to see that guy again. Dude, I made it at home. He dropped me off at home. But I'm telling you, there's a little piece of me that goes, if we live in multiple timelines, there is a timeline where that went terribly wrong, because I don't see how it couldn't have. I just might have jumped into this one because of the trauma, dude, because I don't even know how I made it out of there. And then I broke up with him, And he really tried to hang out a few more times to where it was starting to get scary. And I texted my dad, and my dad's like, you want me to threaten this guy? And I was like, no, I don't want anyone to threaten this guy because I don't think he's like a give up kind of guy. And then he started leaving car parts for my car at the door for a few months. And eventually he just fizzled out of my life. But that was a really, really fucking scary dating experience for me. And that's why I'm scared of the dark. That's why I don't go for walks at night. Dude, dating as a woman's wild. It's wild, you guys. I know a lot of you are men. You will never understand what it's like to live in a world where you're the prey. And I know women can be like, I know some of you are rolling your eyes and being like, I've been a victim to a woman many times, but I don't mean like mentally or like, I know that women can hit you, but like, it's such a different thing when someone can just punch you in the face and kill you. Like just the difference in what it would take is wild when you think about it. I've seen a lot of things about girls like wrestling with their boyfriends and then they get scared because they realize like, dude, this guy's playing and he's overpowering me in such an intense way. It's fucking crazy, dude. And that's why women need to get into jujitsu. Start throwing these bitches in some omoplatas. Imagine a guy trying to you and you throw him in an omoplata. He'll instantly no. He'll be so impressed. He'll be like, pfft. Then his balls are empty, and that's when they're weak. You poke them in the eyes like a shark. That's what you got to do. Anyways, I think I'm going to get ready for my show. I appreciate you guys listening and letting me blab for a bit. I'm sorry I haven't been posting content. I'm back home. Next week, I'm not touring. I'm not on the road. I have a full week off. I'll be posting some Kimmy Madison's. I'm going to have my boy Yonder on again. We're going to do some more music. That was really fun. I will be in Brea, California, May 14th. Oxnard, California, May 15th. Del Mar, California, May 16th. Portland, Maine, July 11th. Portland, Maine, July 12th, Tacoma, Washington, August 29th and 30th, Nashville, Tennessee, September 5th and 6th. So make sure you buy tickets for those shows, kimcongdon.com. I would love to hear your bad date stories in the comments. Your scariest date, your craziest date, let me know. Share this with a friend. I'll be at Skankfest, and I think that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.